Hello my dear student, today I am going to discuss about lesson plan. Prepare a lesson plan on any one topic of secondary school curriculum. Teacher education has become a responsible activity in terms of what is needed and desired in classroom situation. So, teacher, educators and teaching requires a radical transformation. That means all teachers have to use innovative ideas and practices. Careful planning of lesson is the fundamental in successful teaching. Simply, a lesson plan contains a clear description of the method of creating proper classroom environment. Do you understand? A lesson plan, in the words of Lester B. Stans, is actually a plan of action. It therefore includes the working philosophy of the teacher, his or her knowledge of philosophy, his information about subject and understanding of his pupils. So, we can say that actually lesson plan is the backbone of classroom teaching. It is an essential meaning by which the desirable end is unit of teaching needs several periods of time. Do you understand, my dear students? So, in short, actually, lesson plan contains a clear description of the method of creating proper classroom environment. The lesson plan always try to create proper environment, is not it? So, what is the importance of lesson plan? We can say that actually it's a very important blueprint, it's a very important action plan for the teachers. So, when we are going to tell about the importance of lesson plan, we see that it keeps both the teacher and the taught on the right track. That means it ensures steady progress and definite outcome of teaching and learning procedure. Next one, it makes teaching activities very meaningful and stimulate us to see the outcome. That means students' outcome. Do you understand? It is actually time-saving device. The lesson plan is a time-saving device. It helps the teacher to organize the the learning progress. Systematically progress. So it helps the teacher to avoid unnecessary repetition. The lesson plan always helps the teacher to avoid unnecessary repetition. It also helps the teacher to gain confidence in performing the classroom activities. I would like to ask you a question. Who is the pioneer of lesson plan? Do you know? Actually, J.F. Herbert, John Frederick Herbert, in 1776, and his followers adopted the most famous procedure known as Herbartian formal steps for the conduct of various types of lessons. Students, he and his followers have given 5 steps about the lesson plan. These are preparation, presentation, comparison, generalization and application. Now I am going to discuss about preparation of a lesson plan. Preparation of a lesson. In modern times, some educationists follow 3 main steps of lesson plan. These are actually while preparing a lesson plan, the teacher should follow some general outlines of the lesson plan. That means some general guidelines. These are identification data. Identification data. The identification data, you should write roll nom, class, teacher, subject's name, teacher's name, lesson, topic, textbook, date, etc. etc. Now, another step is objectives and aims of lesson. Objectives and aims of lessons, actually there are 2 types of objectives. One is general and another is specific objectives. So, you should write actually general objectives first of all. The aims and objectives should be determined before teaching any lesson. The selection of subject matter and teaching method is done according to the aims of the lesson. The aims of the lesson can be divided into 2 parts. There are 2 parts of aims of the lesson. General aims and specific aims. General aims are definite and are related particular subject, so related with particular subject. Then specific aims, do you understand? The these aims are related with particular lesson which is teaching. Then you should write about teaching aids. মানে teacher educator should select teaching aids. Illustrative aids are those aids which are used by the teacher during the teaching period. These are also two types, general aids and specific teaching aids. The general teaching aids are consist of chalk, blackboard, duster, pointer, which are daily used by the teacher in the class. Then you will point out specific aids. This consists of charts, map, picture, poster, diagram, which are used by the teacher in the course of the lesson. So, in my lesson plan, you are watching on my slides actually, I have taken topic rivers of Assam. So, teacher must use the picture of rivers of Assam. It may be Brahmaputra, it may be Barak, it may be Dikho, etc. etc. Do you understand, my dear students? Then another step is introduction step. So during the commencement of the class, teacher tests the previous knowledge of the students. That means previous knowledge. So previous knowledge here refers to the previous experience of the pupils related to the subject. Previous knowledge here refers to the previous experience of the pupils related to the subject. Then previous knowledge test or introduction, announcement of the topic. After test the previous knowledge, the teacher educator showing the teaching aids and simultaneously he used the daily lesson, that means announcement of the topic. To test their previous knowledge, the teacher asks pupils some question. That means, my dear students, after previous knowledge testing, the teacher announces the aim of the topic or the lesson of the class. Then we shall go to presentation step. That means we are going to discuss about presentation step. In these steps, lesson is divided into small units. It is developed with the help of the pupils. Pupils' interaction is very needful in this presentation step. The teacher uses different teaching materials and aids time to time. Teaching materials and teaching aids is very essential. So, blackboard work is done side by side. The teacher must use blackboard writing. Understand, my dear student? The subject matter actually divided into two parts. That means subject matter and methodology. Teacher use methodology in classroom teaching. Next, blackboard work. The blackboard work is a very important work for every teacher. Blackboard work is done simultaneously by the teacher. He proceeds with the lesson. Do you understand, my dear students? Then, recapitulation. To test the extent of understanding on the part of the students, the teacher asks some questions for review. Teacher asks some question for review. Presentation step. Then we are going to closure step. Closure means review, evaluation and homework. In the last stage, that means closure steps, the teacher gives homework and assignment related to work done in the class to give practice and permanent knowledge to the students. So this is the last steps, that means closure steps. Do you understand, my dear students? Actually, the lesson plan is the backbone of classroom teaching. It is very essential for the teacher. Every teacher, in planning a lesson, the teacher plays an important role. In that connection, he should have clear idea about the subject matter. Teacher should have clear idea about the subject matter and objectives of each lesson. The concept of or subject matter should be clear in the mind of the teacher. That means every teacher should have clear conception about the subject matter. Discussion. He can use the techniques like dramatization, discussion, experiment, reasoning, deductive, inductive, storytelling method, illustration to individual differences. as we know that actually in classroom situation, all students are not same. Is not it? So the knowledge of lesson plan will help the teacher to use classroom materials effectively in the teaching. Thank you, my dear students.